Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another show where we are going to be looking at our prospects really for the rest of the season. Where do we think we can finish realistically come the end of the season? Obviously, a lot of this has come off the back of the discussion on Sky Sports after the game yesterday between United and Liverpool, where Roy Keane basically wrote off any chances of us mounting any kind of title challenge. That was met with very divided opinions. Some were agreed with them, some were very much jumped on the defensive. But yeah, Rob Astle and I are going to discuss whether we can aspire to those kind of levels just yet, or whether we need to be keeping our expectations a bit lower. Either way, we've got there's still a lot to play for, and the league's very tight. So we'll get started anyway. Rob, how do you feel about our prospects for the rest of the season?
I think for us it all depends on keeping the team fit. What you'd say the starting 11 fit. Keeping Dean, Allen, Decore, Rodriguez, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin fit really. Because outside of that, I don't think the squad's strong enough to compete for the league. It's nice to be mentioned in the same breath as a title race, but I just don't think we're quite there yet. I think if we did want to compete, we'd have to spend in January, and we'd have to spend smart. And I just don't think we've got that capability at the minute. But yeah, challenging for the league, it is possible. You never know what could happen. We could win our next 3 or 4 games and we could still be up there. But there's a long way to go, and I just don't think our squad's quite good enough to stay up there.
No, and I think that's the next big thing we're going to ask is, like, if we were to mount a title challenge, what would it take to maintain up there? Where we need to strengthen if we were going to, maybe put that right and keep ourselves in a title race?
Yeah, I think the starting 11 that started the season, the back 4 of Keane, Mina, Dean and Coleman. If you can keep all them fit, I've got no issues there, because you've got Ben Godfrey. It's all about strength and depth, really. The middle of the park sound as well, when it's all fit. But off the bench, I don't think our options are great. Andre Gomez, he looks a shadow of the player he should be. Tom Davis, we know he's a utility man who's not quite going to be that player who's going to send us on to the next level. We need players, I think, who can come off the bench and make the same impact as your Richarlison, your Rodriguez, as your Calvert-Lewins, and we just haven't got that at the minute. So if we're gonna challenge, I think that's where we need to. I think that's where we need to strengthen what's on the bench.
Yeah, our attacking substitutes aren't adequate.
Exactly. So Bernard flatters to deceive every time he comes on the pitch. Tosin, the less said about him, the better. Let's ship him off to whoever will have him. So if you can get players on the bench who can come off and make the impact, great. I think we can mount a challenge then. But whilst we haven't got that, I just think we'll probably fall short, and we probably have to look at the European places.
Yeah, certainly. With that in mind, so if let's say for hypothetically we don't end up signing anyone come the end of the month, we go into the rest of the season with the squads we currently have, where can you see us finishing realistically?
I don't think 3rd or 4th's out of the question, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I don't think it's, what are we now? We're 2 points behind Liverpool, aren't we? We're 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, we're 6th now, I think, but
we're 6th now, but with games in hand over them all. I don't think the question. I really don't. I think if we weren't going to be involved in the Champions League race by now, we'd know about it. But we just seem to keep getting them wins that keep us in touch with that top 4. Europa League, certainly. I can't see obviously any less than that. I do think we'll qualify for Europe in some sort of capacity. I don't think we'll be without European football next year. But Champions League, it'll be hard. It'll be tough. No doubt about it, but I do think it's possible. And why it's possible is we've got our next league game is Leicester, I think, isn't it? Leicester at home after the Cup. That's a massive game now, because if you take points off them, that's 6 points you've taken off a top 4 rival. we've still got to play Man City at home. We've still got to go to Old Trafford. We've still got to go to Anfield. We've still got to play Arsenal. We've got to play these big teams who are going to be in and around us. We've got a chance to, and we've already taken points off them. We've got a chance to take more points off them and just gain that little bit more ground on them, and stay within the mix. So fourth for the third and fourth, it's certainly not out of the question. It'd be tough, but if I wouldn't discount us.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously the real cause for concern. You mentioned some of the teams we've got to face there. Our records away at some of those grounds is horrific.
Oh no, yeah, but that seems to have changed now under Carlo Ancelotti. You know what I mean? We got a result at Tottenham. You know, we've played well. You know, we've beaten Arsenal. I know Arsenal are a former shadow, a shadow of former selves at the moment. We've beaten Leicester away. You know, everyone. Roy Keane was, waxing lyrical about Leicester yesterday.
Insane over Leicester, wasn't he? I don't know what that was.
I'm not being funny.
They're a good side, don't get me wrong.
Exactly, they're a good side, but we battered them. They didn't get a sniff against us. And I think what we need to do as well is we need to start turning some of these stupid defeats into points, like that Newcastle game, the Leeds game, the West Ham game. If you're not going to win them, don't lose them.
Yeah,
at the very, very least, because that's probably what's going to cost us in the end. This league this year is so open and it's so
inconsistent as well. I think
every team. Yeah, look at that. You know what I mean? Everyone was. I remember at the time, everyone was fuming that we went to Southampton and got beat. The so-called best team in the world, Liverpool, went there and got beat the other night. It's not an easy place. Do you know what I mean? It's not an easy place to go. Now, because this is just how football is. Crowds aren't there to make an effect on games and things and whatever. So, we've got to. I think if we want to mount a serious challenge for the title, we need to strengthen, which I don't think we will. So the next step for that is we go for Champions League, and to do that, we've got to beat the teams around us, and we've got to start turning the games that we'll lose, these silly games that we'll lose, and turning them into at least point, the odd point here and there, rather than West Ham beating you 1-0 at home. If you're not going to win it, don't lose it, because that'll be our downfall in the end.
But even in terms of pushing for top four, do you think that we still need some more acquisitions in January, or do you reckon this team can get us over the line?
No, I think I'd like to see a striker come in. Certainly. I think I've got no issues with the defence. I think we're quite flexible there. We've got Ben Godfrey, we've got Mason Holgate who can play fullback if necessary. They can also play centre half if we've got trouble there. I've got no issues with the goalkeeping situation anymore. But going forward, I think we need another option to Calvert-Lewin. So Cenk Tosun, bin him off. He's just a waste of space for me, Cenk Tosun. So I'd like us to bring a striker in just to take the pressure off Calvert-Lewin, to have an option on the bench where you think, this lad could come and score here.
Have you got a name in mind, or? Obviously, Xerxes been thrown around, but
I thought, but is he going to be in? Who? Sorry,
Xerxes from Bayern.
Yeah, from Bayern. I don't really know much about him, to tell you the truth. I know we had Charles with us a couple of years ago, but is he another Moise Keane who needs time to adapt? I don't know, and and it needs to be an instant impact. I can't give you any names, to tell you the truth, but I'd like to see us bring in an attacker to help the situation out. But Calvert-Lewin's goals dried up a bit over Christmas, didn't he?
I think that dried up with the way we're playing, the lack of service he gets.
True, yeah, but if you're gonna be a striker, I think a world class striker, you need to adapt to them situations. You look at the likes of your Harry Kanes, who, Tottenham play great football at times, but when it's back to the walls, he's still a top striker and still gets you goals. And I think that's what, at the minute, what Calvert-Lewin might need to work on, start making things happen for himself, rather than having if he's not getting the service. But that's another story altogether. But yeah, that's certainly a striker for me.
I think that could be the big one. I think we do need somebody who can, pop up with a goal, and certainly an upgrade on Cenk Tosun would be a major priority, I think. And I think one way or another, I reckon Tosun may well be gone in 2 weeks' time when the window shuts.
Yeah. So hopefully that frees wages up in some sort of capacity to bring in other players. But you never know.
We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, obviously Marcel Brands said at the AGM that there won't be any new signings, and it's one of them. We aren't known for spending big in January, with the exception of that Allardyce season, and they weren't good signings at all. But could you see, like, I think a lot of fans have found on the on social media lately have been very much saying that we've got a massive opportunity here, and it's a waste of an opportunity if we don't strengthen to go all out.
I wouldn't disagree with that. It is, it's a bit. I remember when we finished fourth under David Moyes that year. We strengthened, we sold. I remember Gravison left in the January, and we brought out Arteta and James Beattie in, and that basically helped us get fourth in the end. It put bodies into the squad and quality into the squad that was needed, and so it is proven. But it's got to be the right players, like you've just said there. We don't spend well in January. Theo Walcott, he's leaving on a free transfer and someone now. Cenk Tosun, he's
going for
crap.
Minimum money.
Minimum, do you know what I mean? We don't. It's not something that we do well. So it's got to be the right bodies, and yet Marcel Brands, he said in the AGM, we're not looking to sign anyone, but as a buyer, do you want to show your hand? That's is that you don't show your hand that people that you need bodies.
Because Marcel Brands has got a track record of saying things like this, and then we end up signing somebody. So you never know.
Yeah, it was literally because it was less than 24 hours later that they were talking about that Xerxes. So
yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's as a negotiator, he's got to keep his cards close to his chest, really. So he's not going to go, yeah, we're here to spend.
Yeah, we're going to throw all this money to throw around, and
exactly. So he's got, and it probably all depends on outgoings, because if we want to play in Europe next year, we've got to comply with with financial fair
FFP.
play.
Is it worth gambling a chance of playing in Europe just to go and what would be the point of finishing in the top four in the end?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and we're doing well at the minute. You know what I mean? Even if what are we now, sixth? If we win our game around against Villa, we're automatically fourth. Without and we'd still have games in hand plus, because we've still got to play Man City. So everything's in our favour at the minute. So you've got to be careful. I think you've got to be careful what you do in terms of just going lashing money at something that might not work.
You also find, there's been times where people brought in big signings, going hell for leather, and it can actually derail the team.
Yeah, that could quite. You might get a bad egg in who comes in and just ruins the the team spirit. And right now they look really, really together, and they look like they care. Do you know what? It's the first Everton team in about
Since
4 or 5
probably.
years. Yeah, 4 or 5 years, probably since that first season of Martinez, where I've actually enjoyed. I actually like them as a team. There's no bad eggs in the team. They all look together. They all look like they care. So you don't want to bring anyone as well who's going to disrupt that. You don't want to bring in a superstar who thinks he's coming in to say, to save the day or to give that Champions League push when it's a team effort. There's loads of factors you've got to consider.
Yeah,
but
certainly.
So I wouldn't be going out there and spending stupid money on someone.
I think it's one of them. I think we do need some acquisitions, but it's got to be calculators. What's available in the loan market. These will be things. Obviously, Marcel Brands will be thinking about this under the radar, even if he's not saying it in AGMs. Yeah, but it's definitely something that we'd need to consider, because if there's an opportunity arising in the loan market, maybe, or a free transfer, or something cheap, I think we need to be all over that. I think if we can get a good acquisition in the competitive squad for a small fee, then definitely go for that.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that. You've got where the league's concerned as well. You've got a 25-man squad, so you need to populate it with as many good quality players as you possibly can. You know what I mean? I could list off a load of players that I really, really like, but there's just no point because they won't be available in January.
Oh
At
yeah,
the end
but
of the day.
also I think there's also the matter of bringing players in. Obviously, you need to free up that space in that 25-man squad and get rid of a few.
Yeah.
So I think maybe even if we don't need the money from the sales, we need to get those extra figures out of the squad because it is a bloated squad even now at this stage. I think it's still quite a bloated squad.
There's players there who aren't getting a look in. Yeah, you've got players like Cenk Tosun's only getting game time because Moise Keane's not there, and even then his game time is limited to minimal. You know what I mean? Even when we're getting beat, he's coming on in like the last 10 minutes to try and save it. Not to, he's not given a lot of time. You've got the likes of John Joe Kenny sat there. You've got some people
Besic, players like that who people don't even want to take home loan.
Exactly, you know what I mean. These dead weights we just can't seem to shift. So we've got to shift that first before we start, overinflating any more of the squad as well. So, but yeah, it's got to be the right. If we're going to buy anyone, it's got to be the right person. It can't just be going out and buying things for the sake of buying them.
Yeah, certainly. I always remember, I think the big one that when I was thinking about derailing season, I remember Newcastle bought a Spread in '96 and they were top of the league.
Yeah,
and then they threw it away. It wasn't even like he wasn't a bad player either. It was just it disrupted the system that they were using and stuff like that. And I don't think Ancelotti's as tactically daft as Kevin Keegan is. So I can't see him doing anything like that. But I still think we've got to be very shrewd. We can't just go and splash out. And I'm sure behind the scenes something will be going on.
Yeah, there'll be stuff going on, but I do think it all depends on us and who goes out. And I think you're right there as well in terms of tactics. He's got this, like, for me now, he's got two ways of playing. He's got a starting 11 where we just go forward and attack like we did in the early years of the season.
The low block stuff that's got us through December,
and then we've got the low block stuff which he tends to play against like your Leicesters, your Chelseas, your Arsenals, where they're going to hit you with pace, so just sit back and get them on the break. You knew that they tend to be the two systems, so whoever's coming in needs to be able to play them systems at the end of the day.
Be flexible, you can adapt to both systems.
Yeah, so again, you can't bring anyone in who's just gonna, let's say he's been playing 4-4-2 with all season, and then he's being asked to play 4-5-1 or 4-4-3-3. It doesn't work like that. They've got to be the right people.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of work going on with regards to that. But we'll finish up in a second. But just lastly, obviously, we've got the current squad as it is, and from what you've seen so far this season, where do you see us finishing?
Right now?
Yeah.
Season was to end now. 5th.
That's where I'm going to say myself. I'm not
5th, yeah.
I'm not sure if we've got the legs for top 4, but I think if we were to finish outside the top 6, if we were to miss out on Europe, I'd be immensely disappointed.
Yeah, I'd be if we were to finish the season in May without European football, for me, after the season,
that's a major disappointment.
It's a failure. The season's a failure at the end of the day. And it probably, if we don't qualify for Europe, I think we've got to reevaluate our plans in the summer transfer market then, because I think as a team and now in the summer, we'll be planning to be able to have a squad that competes in Europe. But yeah, if you said to me now where we're going to finish, I'd say 5th. And 5th to be, I think 5th to be, 5th's a massive improvement on the last two.
We were 12th at the end of last season, so it's a massive step forward. I think 12th was a major underachievement for the squad last season. I think 5th, given the improvement, to be, I think the aim this season would have been to break the top 6. And I think even at the start of the season, we'll be thinking top 4. I don't think we would have been. But obviously, the way things have been in the league this season, it's blown it a bit more wide open.
I think what could help us get that top 4, though, and help towards 5th, is you've got Leicester and you're going to have United playing in the Europa League. and then you're going to have Liverpool and City distracted by the Champions League as well at times. Where we've got a straight run. It's league games only. Maybe the FA Cup thrown in, but that's the one game a month, isn't it? Until unless you get to the final. So we've only got the league to concentrate on, so we can just put all our eggs into that one basket if we wanted to. Whereas they've got to balance the way they play, and Thursday, Sunday we've been punished with that before. So you'd like to think Leicester might drop off.
That's another good point actually, though, with regards to Joe. If we do qualify for Europe, whether it's the Champions League, Europa League, whatever. Last time we qualified for Europe, we absolutely embarrassed ourselves. This team, do you reckon this team could do a lot better than that? I think.
Absolutely. I
reckon this team would be more equipped to hold its own in Europe.
It goes down to what I was saying before about I actually like them as a team. They seem like a decent bunch of lads for starters. There's quality in there, and you've got a manager who, if we're gonna go away in Europe, I think you're gonna get, as a manager in Europe. I think he's gonna be the kind of manager to be right. I'm just going here to nick this 1-0. I think we'll play the low block a lot and play them on the counter. I think it'd be that European season needs eradicating from memory. To be honest with you, it will be 10 times better. We'll get out the group if it's Europa League. If it's Europa League, we'll get out the group with that squad.
I mean, I think that's the thing. I think for me, our ability as a squad, I know last time it was absolute chaos and it was a farce, but that was because of the management, I think, and the squad that we put together. But for me, the issue with us is not being able to compete in Europe. It's actually getting into Europe to compete. It's the difficulty of the Premier League to get a European place. I think once we get there, I think we'll be able to hold our own with the squad and mix it. But in the Europa League, at least. But
absolutely, yeah. No, I wouldn't disagree with that.
But obviously, the issue is getting into Europe, and we've got to try and. I think finishing top 6 is a must this season. I think we've made a start that warrants it, and we need to keep that going. Whether we can do that, it's obviously one of them. And really, obviously, the more time goes on, we just need to see how we get on and just make sure we keep plugging away. I think that seems to be the way we win these games. We just seem to keep mucking in.
Yeah, just go game by game. I think I tweeted about this at the beginning of the season. This season will cause teams problems, but as a fan base, we're renowned for getting ahead of ourselves and thinking we're going to do, we're going to win a lot, and we can't do that. Let's just take it game by game. You look at that run into Christmas, then four straight wins. They were brilliant wins then.
Yeah, and I mean we went into that run for the Burnley game in terrible form as well. We were after the Leeds game, it was really bleak, and we were about 10th in the table, and it seemed as though the season was going to be a damp squib.
But it just goes to show how crazy this league is at the moment, and a couple of wins can get you right back up there. And I think one thing is going in our favour is, I think that after this weekend, these midweek games, a lot of teams are going to be at the halfway point of their seasons, whereas we're not. We're still going to have games in hand, and chances to still go above them, but we're still well within such a distance. Do you know what I mean? And I think where our position now, there's no guarantee of it, but you'd like to think that the way we've consistently picked up points this season is going to put us in for good stead for the second half of the season. And I think it will. Like I said, I'm confident of 5th at least. The way we're playing, it doesn't matter who we play as well. I'm not scared because, like I've just said to you, we've got 2 ways of playing. We've got the low block, or we can go at teams. Yeah. And that's what we've got, and we've got Lucas Dean back now, as well, who can start.
Yeah.
You only have to look at his value on last Wednesday when we played Wolves. 5 minutes back into the team, and he's put an assist in.
Yeah, certainly.
And then it's all about getting James Rodriguez back and firing on all cylinders as well. And he looked a lot fitter against Wolves as well.
Yeah, he did.
So
I think.
Yeah. But I think the next game, this Leicester game, I make this a massive game.
Yeah, it's a major opportunity. I mean, these are the kinds of games where we've spent on numerous occasions. We need to get that right. I think that's a big step forward if we win that.
But like I said to you before, though, if we're not going to win it, don't lose it.
Definitely don't lose that.
Yeah, if we're not going to win it, if we're struggling with injuries or whatever, if we're not going to win it, just don't lose the game, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Keep ourselves in touch with it all, and when they need to bother about the Europa League and things like that, we'll be like, okay, we're fine. We'll just carry on playing our league, our usual league.
One game a week fixtures, yeah.
Yeah, where we can really get a grip of them situations.
And on that note, the one last thing is obviously if we do qualify for Europe, we'll have that very issue ourselves next season. Mm-hmm. How will we manage with that?
Well, it's going to need. I think it's a different topic for a different podcast, but I do think we're going to see an outgoing in the summer, which is going to help balance the books, and help us buy players and compete. I think we might see. I think we could see Richarlison depart, is what I'm trying to say, for big money, but only big money.
How big are we talking?
I think you talk 100 million at least.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to take if he's going to sell.
Yeah, but it doesn't even necessarily have to be with it. It could be like it could be your Bernards, your Sigurdssons, and things like that who all go and free spaces.
Yeah, well, Moise Keane looks like it could become permanent, and that would be around 30 million plus.
30 million plus at least. So there's money that you can reinvest. So like I think two things to be able to compete in Europe, you're looking at having a squad that's capable of it. So you'd almost like to say that you play two different teams effectively, one for the league, one for the cup, one for the Europa League. Sorry, maybe with the odd change in it. But what you also need is a manager who's tactically sound, and that's one thing that we've already got.
Yeah, he's a lot more clued up. In the previous seasons, we've gone into these games with Koeman in charge. Martinez.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I always remember that Dynamo Kiev game where we got beat 5-2, and we just didn't need to lose the game. We could have drew the game. We were drawing the game at one point, but he did. He just went for it gung ho, and then you obviously had Koeman a few years later, where he played.
Just didn't have a clue.
He played this 3-5-2 and just didn't have a clue, and we were getting rinsed left, right, and centre. So what we've got is the one thing that we've got in place, which is sound, and which I'm really looking forward to seeing, is Carlo Ancelotti managing Everton in Europe. I'd love us to go away to a big team and sneak a 1-0. Do you know what I mean? Just like the way we did it to Chelsea and stuff. Just backs to the walls kind of thing. Real low block, get them on the counter. And I think that's what we've got, and I think that's one thing that's I know there's a box ticked already, but we're going to need a bench that's capable of coming off and being effective, because right now our bench isn't fit for purpose.
No, certainly not. I think that's a big one. We've got to get that right, and provided we get Europe, I think we will put that right next summer. But that the first objective is to get over that line, and that's what we've got to just keep plodding along, like I say, get prime results out and get over that line, because it's one of them. It's going to be nail biting stuff, but it's good that we're actually biting our nails over Everton rather than the usual apathy of finishing like 12th.
Do you know what? It'd be nice going into like the final 5-6 games of the season with still the possibility of being able to qualify for the Champions League. That'd be the ideal situation for me. If you're 5th and above and you've still got the possibility of qualifying for them top 4 spaces, then apart from we're not going to win the league, but anything below that, that's fine for me, because you're probably going to finish no lower than 5th anyway. And I think what you might start seeing is soon you might start seeing teams drop off, early season form. You might start seeing your likes of, your Southamptons starting to realise, starting to like not be as fluid as they have been. You look at your West Hams. Don't get me wrong, David Moyes is doing a great job there at the minute, but you'd like to think that they sort of like they'd faltered a little bit. Same with Villa. Plus, you never know how COVID's going to affect things as well. You know what I mean? If big players are out for teams, it could change the league drastically. So, but yeah,
I haven't even touched on at all.
Yeah, but it'd be nice. But it'd be really, really nice to be going into them final 5 to 10 games of the season with still the opportunity to finish in the top 4.
But with that in mind, you reckon it's going to be a 5th place finish?
Yeah, I'll go 5th. Yeah,
I'll go 5th, maybe 6th. I'm not too sure, but
yeah, I think
as long as it ends us up in Europe,
yeah,
I'll be happy with that.
I think if you finish 5th, I think there's no qualifying phase then, is there? So your season can start as late as you want it to start.
Your season starts when the league season starts, like most teams.
Yeah, the one thing that we don't want to happen is we don't want to have to go through stupid qualifiers in June, do we, or July? It's
yeah.
But again, that all depends on COVID and the Euro, so it's all you know.
Yeah, we have to remember it's a Euro year as well. That's been postponed a year, and you'll have players going to the Euros as well. It's going to be an interesting one, but
yeah, some huge factors to consider.
So many, and we've probably not even got time to get through all of them. But we'll just hope for the best, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get over the line, but only time will tell. Anyway, guys, we'll leave it at that. Let us know your opinions on our season so far, where you think we'll end up this season, and what you think our prospects are. If we need to strengthen, where do we need to strengthen? And like we've just done, maybe give us a prediction where you think we're going to finish. Either way, and even stuff about like Europe, like how you think we get on in Europe, how you think we cope with the scheduling and stuff like that. Just any sort of opinions you've gathered from this show, just give us a comment below. Give this video a like and subscribe as well for more content throughout the season. And thank you to Rob for joining me on this show.
No worries, mate.
See you again very soon, no doubt, on the channel. Until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in on the Toffee Blues.